Guess what? It's time for your daily message, and today is another clairvoyant message for the collective, and especially for those who are very much on the spiritual path, wanting to seek enlightenment, wanting to reunite with their higher self or the universe or whatever that means for you, however you resonate with that concept. This message is specifically for you, those of you on the spiritual path. So, Spirit says, first of all, that you are absolutely doing well, wonderfully well, better than you realize. It can be very hard for us to gauge how we're doing when we're down here in the physical. But from Spirit's perspective, from a higher self's perspective, from the universe's perspective, they have that eagle eye view, and so they understand the whole playing field, and they see when we're following the threads of energetic connection, when we're going with the flow of this entire beautiful cosmic pot, this web. And that may not always make sense to us. Sometimes we feel like, ooh, this can't be right. It doesn't feel that great. But Spirit is the one that understands things in that bigger picture, that concept, that greater concept, and how what may seem to us like we are going off the path is actually on the path. We just can't quite see how the dots connect just yet. So that's the first thing. The second thing Spirit wants to say is you're doing very well. However, you could be doing better. Now, Spirit understands that that can be very hard to hear because when we are trying to do our best, and maybe when we've been feeling like we're really doing good, sometimes we do feel like we're doing good. And then to hear, but you could be doing better, but you could be doing this, that can be very deflating, right? That can be disappointing to hear, but Spirit says, please, please, please don't take that as a sign that you are not doing as well as we told you that you are. Instead, take it as a sign of, guess what? You graduated from what we guided you to do before. And the reason why you could be doing better is because you've graduated. It's time for you to now up level to the next stage. So this is actually a very, very good sign. Now, sometimes we want to rest, right? We're just like, oh, can't I just have a moment of you're doing great and I can just chill here for a moment? You can always do that, but Spirit says, but you want to accelerate. That's what you want. That's why you've been listening to us. That's why you've been following our guidance, even when it doesn't make sense. That's why you have been trying to listen to your instincts and pay attention to the different signs and messages and downloads and inspired action that we send your way. It's because you don't want to dilly-dally, not in this lifetime. You want to accelerate. And so yes, we know that you want to rest, but we also know that what you want even more than that is to be able to up level, to be able to accelerate, to be able to find that greater union with us. And Spirit, the universe, your higher self, your guides, they're so happy that you want to do that because as good as it feels when you feel closer to them, oh, they feel infinitely more joy when you do that. When you start to reunite with them and get closer to that, oh my God, they are just like cheering and so happy and so excited and just so much more at peace. That peace that you feel in your soul when you really settle into your body, into your energy, they feel that infinitely more in themselves. So when you say you want to accelerate, they pick up on that very quickly. And when you ask for that, they show up. And that can sound like, oh, there's more work and I'm tired. But they're super excited and they know that what you want is the same thing too, even if in the physical sometimes we feel like, can I just catch a break sometimes? So those are some things that they wanted to share. So what is this next thing that you need to up level in? What is this next way that we need to grow? So you've been doing very good. You've been uplifting your energy. You've been believing in yourself even more. You have been giving yourself love as well as others. You've been doing your best to act from compassion. You've been listening to your guides. You have been trying to find more peace and settling down in your soul, in your spirit, in your body. But sometimes there are scenarios where people say certain things and sometimes it's well-intentioned and sometimes it's not, but whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. What matters is how did you react? And Spirit says sometimes you don't react from that place of calm. Sometimes you react off of internal instinct. We could call it ego, though sometimes ego has a more negative connotation than it needs to. It's not meant to be in that negative way. But we have reactions, and spirit, your guides, the universe say those reactions are your test. Now, test is also a very loaded word. The universe is not saying that you're constantly being tested and you have to pass if you want to be seen as worthy in their eyes. No, not at all. They're saying that these tests are more like checkpoints. They give you an opportunity to see where your energy really is. Yes, in many ways you have settled in your soul, but then there are moments where you jump out of that very quickly, very instinctively with reaction. That's not a bad thing, right? We're born with these reactions for a reason, and they have allowed our species and all species to be able to survive. When you see a lion out in the wilderness and you react out of anger, fear, wanting to defend yourself, wanting to run, whatever your instinct is, that's very important. We couldn't have spiritual growth without first establishing physical safety. So not a bad thing, but for those of us on this journey of enlightenment progression, it is an opportunity for us to evaluate ourselves, evaluate our reactions. So Spirit says the guidance here is do your best to focus on thinking about the world as though it is a river, or thinking about it as though it is a breeze flowing over you, and see life as passing through you, and see yourself as passing through life, and allowing whatever comes your way, positive or negative, to just kind of wash over you, to roll over you, to not really attach itself to you. And when you do that, over time, you become unattached to anything that is here in the physical. Now, at first, that can seem a little bit scary. We're so used to the physical. We're so used to being able to have a sense of stability, a sense of certainty. But, of course, a lot of that is an illusion. We may think that we are doing a really good job at work, and then there's a layoff. And it doesn't really matter what your performance is. They have to make cuts. And sometimes it's about performance. Sometimes it's about favoritism. Sometimes it's just about quote-unquote luck. So certainty is an illusion in many ways. And so this is where the ego really clings on. And we get this fear when we think being unattached. But unattachment, not being attached, that is true freedom. Because as you become more detached, maybe that's the right way to say that, as you become more detached, all of a sudden you start to understand that you are so much greater than everything that is happening around you. In fact, you're so much greater than the earth at large. You're so much bigger. And these negative things that occur or happen, they're so minuscule in relation to you. And that is just so expansive, right? We feel big, we feel expansive, we feel really connected. And as we do that, we really start to unite even more with our higher selves. And remember, they feel so much joy when we do that. So don't fear unattachment. And when you kind of let go of that fear, you stop reacting to things, you let things wash over you, and the same thing happens backwards, right? It's a cycle. And as that happens, you become free. You become free from the illusion, free from the matrix, free from physical laws and rules, and you start really becoming a part of the universal energetic laws and rules, which are significantly more powerful than any laws and rules that the human mind can come up with, that we feel really rule our lives. But when we become bigger than that, we see beyond that, and we're able to navigate around it. So that is your next lesson on your spiritual growth, on your spiritual journey. The universe is so incredibly happy, so incredibly proud of your progress, and is so excited that they want to accelerate and give you more tips on what to do next. And this is it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And that was your daily message.